Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to tell you why you don't need college, and I'm going to show you how you can get started as a self-taught developer today. So don't go anywhere, and we'll jump right into the video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another video on my journey. Now, I know what you're thinking. I just said you don't need college, and that's a pretty hefty statement, but bear with me. It's the 21st century. There are so many free resources on the internet today. I'm going to take you through a few things that I did when I first started out to become a self-taught developer. Now, the few free resources that I started out with were the Dummies books, YouTube tutorials, and free coding websites and apps. So now, the first one was the Dummies books. Now, if you've never seen these books before, they are the black and yellow books that will most likely be at your local library or your local bookstore. And they have a skill for every single person out there, every single skill that you could ever think of. Insert skill here for dummies. Plain as that. So that's where I started. So a few of the dummies books that I checked out at my local library were the Python for Dummies, Programming for Dummies, and Computer Science for Dummies. Now, as far as the YouTube tutorials, I was looking up stuff that I was very interested in the time. A few things that I was interested at the time was user input, automation or AI, artificial intelligence, and moving things on the screen, like moving rectangles across the screen. Now, if any of you remember the screensaver of the old DVD players where the square would bounce off the sides of the screen, I was really interested in that. As far as the free coding websites, let me tell you, there's a lot out there, but you kind of have to be careful because there's a lot of them out there that you get so far into the program and then you have to pay to get further on. So a couple of free websites that I went to, one of them was FreeCodeCamp.org. And with that one, you go on there, you sign up for a free account, and they have a bunch of different lessons on there for free. And here's the best part. When you start out a lesson, you start out with the most basic concept that they will teach you for that lesson. And as you go on, they build on each concept. So with that one, you get a nice coherent structure to work through as a beginner. And I've loved this website to use because it is so user-friendly, even if you barely know anything about computers. And it's very highly recommended by me. So if you want to go check that out, I'll leave it in the description below, so you can click on that and go check it out. Now, the other website that I use, and I still use frequently, is called w3schools.com. Now, with this one, it has all different kinds of programming languages on there that you can click on as different tabs, and it'll give you all the different types of lessons that you could go through as a beginner. Now, I will say, in my opinion, the W3 Schools is not as beginner friendly as FreeCodeCamp.org. And I only say that because it's not as broken down as FreeCodeCamp.org is. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can just click on it and go to it and go check it out. Now, for me, this website was really helpful whenever I was starting to do projects. And anytime I would get stuck on a certain concept that was puzzling me, I would just flip back to the W3 Schools website and I would check the documentation there. For the W3 Schools website, I would more recommend that for a time where you already understand a few of the basic concepts of programming. Now, if you're like me and you're working a job with really long hours, you don't have that much time to put in to something else right now, the one app that I started out with was called Solo Learn. SOLOLEARN. And this is a really good app to start out with because it kind of says it in the name. You're a solo learner. You're learning solo. And they have all these different programming languages on there that you can start out with. And they also have computer programming concepts embedded into the lessons so that you're not just learning about programming language by itself, but you're actually learning the concepts that go with it. So that was a few of the main free resources that I frequently went to learn everything that I know today. Now, before we get too far, there's one thing that I have to say is very important. So listen up. If you want to be a self-taught developer, it is not easy. There's a lot of things you'll have to sacrifice in order to stay consistently learning, in order to fully understand the concepts that are going to be brought to you. Now for me, I had to sacrifice family time. And to me, family is everything. Me and my girlfriend, we've been together for almost 10 years now. I could not have asked for a better person on this planet to support me in everything that I've done and sacrificed for. Our daughter is about 7.5. She's going into 2nd grade. And let me tell you, time is flying. We're always telling her to stop growing so fast, but she won't listen. But anyways, I've had to sacrifice a lot of family time, and it's really hard. The other thing that you're probably going to have to sacrifice is a little bit of sleep. Now for me, I was getting about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. Another thing I had to sacrifice was relaxation time. So if it were me starting over, I would definitely take a look at how much time you have on your breaks at work and see if there's a little bit of time that you can squeeze in there to be able to learn a new concept, even if it's just one. I would be very open and communicative with your partner if you have one, so that way you could possibly set up a schedule on a certain day or days to be able to have a certain amount of time blocked out so that you can learn a new concept, or you can work on a project that you've been learning some concepts about. And also, I would take a look at what time you go to bed to see if maybe you might be able to sacrifice a half an hour to an hour or something, just starting out, in order to get that ball rolling. Now, the best way to learn any programming language is to get your hands dirty on the keyboard and start coding up some practice projects. Now, if you watched my first video, I talked briefly about a few of the first projects that I worked on, like my Hangman game, my Wheel of Fortune game, my Tic-Tac-Toe. So those are really great foundational projects for me to work on, because I got to work on a lot of the stuff that I was very interested at the time. And that's something that you can do today too. So to recap, step number 1, I would go throughout your schedule and check and see if there is any time that you can chunk out to learn a new concept that you might be interested in. Step number 2, have open communication with your family so that everybody's on board, everybody knows what you're doing. So step number 3, go on the internet and surf all the free resources out there possible. A few that I mentioned was FreeCodeCamp.org. Very highly recommended, very easy to get started with. W3schools.com. It's very easy to look up. I would more so recommend that once you've learned and understood more of the basic concepts of programming. And YouTube. YouTube is great. YouTube has all kinds of videos out there on all different kinds of tutorials. And you can come to my channel for computer and programming concepts that I can dumb it down for you. So if you got value out of this, I would be much appreciated if you hit like and subscribe. I've been working really hard on these videos, and I just love sitting here sharing my knowledge with you guys so that we can all grow together. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye.